As a console that's well over half a decade old, and with the PlayStation 5 out in the wild as the focus of most of Sony's attention going forward, now's a good chance to pick up the best cheap PS4 games from the platform's storied history. Your mind may instantly wander to the recently announced PlayStation hits for cheap games on PlayStation 4, but they're actually a considerable markup when you can pick them up for far cheaper without the fancy label. If you're shopping on a budget or simply want to skim through the PS4's extensive library without breaking the bank, here's what lies in store. Also, as a great bonus, all of these games will also work on PlayStation 5 thanks to backwards compatibility. Note that these prices are just the kind of prices you should expect to pay, not RRP, and may fluctuate over time. Before we get into this though, if you could slap that like button and smash the subscribe, that would be big helpful. What cheap PS4 games have we missed? Let us know down yonder. 1. Titanfall 2. The relatively low sales of Titanfall 2, not helped by EA sending it out to die, have contributed towards it having a huge markdown as early as 2017 and putting a third game in jeopardy. If you're yet to try out the best robot parkour shooter, you have a great chance with it now being regularly on sale, which also regularly includes its deluxe editions. Its multiplayer is fantastic, but for once when it comes to FPS games, the campaign is the main attraction. If you've been playing the hell out of Apex Legends, maybe take a trip back as well. We got this physically for £3 and felt like we'd robbed them. 2. Downwell. Based solely on first appearances, the low price of Downwell may seem justified. However, based on gameplay and how much you can get out of this challenging and addictive shooter, it's actually a bargain. While it's probably best suited for portable gaming, Downwell's pick up and play ethos makes it the perfect palate cleanser when you want to wean yourself off of the heavy stuff, i.e. being disgraced by kids in Fortnite, again and again and again. Also, it's cross-buy on the Vita. Here's a pro gamer tip. Buy a Vita. Then look at your library and discover just how many free games you have on it now thanks to cross-buy and Plus over the years. Then petition Sony to make a new Vita and join the cycle of Vita pain with us. You're welcome. 3. Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2 reportedly sold just a fraction of what its predecessor did, which is a pretty big blow for the franchise going forward. What that means for you is that you can get Dishonored 2, the masterful stealth adventure, for very little at all. The brilliance of Dishonored 2 is that you can approach most situations in whichever way you see fit, whether playing as Emily or Corvo. Going loud and violent or slink around the back and be peaceful, the choice is yours. While single player stealth sims may not be all the rage these days, check out Dishonored 2 to see why so many people love the franchise. Once you're done, check out Death of the Outsider, a neat spin-off that looks like it might be the last we see of the franchise for a long time, at least on the PlayStation. 4. Prey. Poor Arcane. Their games are so incredible but just don't seem to connect with a massive audience. Prey did not resonate with everyone at launch, which led to it doing only okay in sales, much like most of the publisher's 2017 output. Everyone else's loss is your gain, however, as Prey is a solid alternative to classics like System Shock that sees you trying to uncover the mysteries of a space station where everything is wrong. It's basically a System Shock spiritual successor and one of the most experimental, fascinating games to boot that deserves more attention. Also, the coffee mugs are trying to kill you. 5. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. If you haven't yet played The Witcher 3, it probably means that you have a social life that you really shouldn't abandon. Who needs friends when you can have sex on top of a unicorn and meet a lot of ugly children though? On its own, Wild Hunt will give you 100+ hours of content, but if you pick up its complete edition which comes with Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine DLC, that's an extra 50 hours of sexing at the very least right there. Give it roughly 6 months, which is how long it will probably take you to get through all of the game, and Cyberpunk 2077 will be on this list as well. They do have to make it sellable again first though. 6. Shadow of the Colossus. One of the best video game remakes ever made launched in 2018 at a far more fair price already, with the months and years since launch seeing it drop even further. It's safe to say its price isn't nearly as big as the Colossi themselves. Basically, if you never played Shadow of the Colossus on the PlayStation 2, you have no excuses for not picking it up on the PlayStation 4 instead and discovering the melancholy tale of a man, woman, horse and a whole bunch of jaw-dropping behemoths. Extra cost for tissues not included in the price. Also, Team Ico, what you doing guys? It's been a minute. 7. Middle-earth Shadow of War. Judging from how quickly it plummeted in price, it looks as if Shadow of War wasn't exactly a rip-roaring success for WB Games. As well as being less well received than its predecessor, Shadow of War's inclusion of loot boxes polarised fans and led to a massively bloated and just plain boring endgame. With those now removed and the game better balanced as a result, Shadow of War is now the game it was supposed to be, a hulking beast that tries to do many things at once. While it's not perfect, there's still plenty of enjoyment to be had. Just don't let die-hard Tolkien fans play the story as their heads may explode. 8. Sonic Mania. The first good Sonic game since, well, the early days of the franchise is more than just a gratuitous nod to long-time fans. It's where the series should go next. A glorious mishmash of different Sonic periods while also just generally being a good Sonic game in its own right, Sonic Mania could be the perfect cheap PS4 game for anyone with a love for the gaming of old or the blue blur in general. Plus, Sonic Mania Plus, the version with additional content, is just as affordable. Sonic Forces is also available for very cheap on the PS4, but it's Sonic Forces. Can't win them all. 9. Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn is a game that should straight up just not work. An open world where you take on robot animals as a tribal huntress sounds like it's trying too hard to be original, but that's exactly what it is. Explore a vast open world, ride around on robot steeds, and climb up metal giraffes in this enterprising departure from the developers of Killzone. It's basically Monster Hunter without the grind and long-term commitment. A one-time PS4 exclusive that's getting a sequel by the name of Forbidden West for the PS5, you can play as Aloy on the cheap whether it's the base edition or the complete edition with the also excellent Frozen Wilds DLC in tow. And at number 10, God of War. The best PlayStation 4 game of all time? Maybe, but it's certainly a resurgent entry in the God of War franchise, which had become predictable with its previous entry, Ascension, not really focusing on the right things. Featuring an older, guilt-riddled Kratos as he escorts his son to a mountain of great importance, God of War shifts the perspective to over the shoulder and makes things a little less chaotic and more tactical, all set in one incredible long shot. God of War is a game about fatherhood and, perhaps most surprisingly of all, love. You're running out of excuses not to play this. A sequel is set to come out sometime in 2021, but considering that the world is on fire right now, it's pretty doubtful. And there you have it, there is our list of the 10 best cheap PS4 games. Are there any from the list that you like the look of, that you've played, not played, any that you think we've missed out? As we asked before, let us know in the comments down below. We always love to hear from you, and if you've enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that like button, smashing the subscribe button, and tapping that little notification bell so you don't miss all the videos coming from Cultured Vultures in the future. But if you have enjoyed this, we hope to see you in the next one across all the social medias on screen now as well. But until then, cuckoo.